the first armadillo I've ever seen in my life. Maybe in a zoo, but oh my gosh. He's smaller than I thought he'd be. Oh my gosh. Like a rat with a shell on his back. Oh my gosh. Good morning. Right now I'm heading out to the main Fort Pickens area. There are batteries scattered throughout these islands, I guess. Originally put in during World War I, and I guess Fort Pickens itself was also a battle site during the Civil War. I forget the details. I think the Union soldiers held it, and the Confederates attacked one day, and like 90 people died. I forget the details. I'm gonna read and learn all about it here soon. I did read a little bit about it, that's why I remember it, but vaguely. But this morning I saw an armadillo for the first time in my life. I don't even know if I've ever seen one in a zoo. I don't know, because it's such an odd creature. But all right, let's head on over there and check out how things are gonna be. Today was supposed to be actually partially rainy, but it's sunny and just a little bit of clouds, wispy clouds. Seems like a beautiful day, oddly enough. Let's take advantage of it while it's gonna be nice, because I'm sure tomorrow it's not gonna be. Here at Fort Pickens, there's a bunch of forts built 1834, before the Civil War, and oddly enough, right? I didn't know this actually, but the Florida Trail ends right here. This is the northern terminus of the Florida Trail. It's a 1,300-mile trail that starts from the very southernmost point at Key West and comes up here, ends right here. No monument. Is there a monument? Let's go look around. That explains it. The fort was originally set up to protect the Gulf of Pensacola, which is this way. So I guess that's why all the guns are facing out. Back in 1834, I guess, you know, there were pirates and stuff probably. So I guess that was their job here. Limited action during the Civil War. Interesting. We're gonna go to more of these batteries later. I guess there's a Langdon battery, which is the biggest, or held the biggest guns. And earlier we were at Battery Worth, where they had the guns that can actually like fold down every time it shoots. Quite interesting. But we're gonna walk around here. There's one of the guns inside the building. It's pretty cool how they got the windows laid out. You know, they used to have archer slits in the old days, but now it's cannon slits. It's a huge cannon, and back here you can see the concrete where they would roll the cannon to aim. Here's where we are. The naval yard is over here, and they built a series of forts to protect this entire bay. This tunnel was marked with a 5, so I walked it, and now we come across these tiny little tunnels. There's 3 of them. They go pretty far. I'm guessing there's something at the ends. Let's go left, and can't get lost here, could I? Nah. You gotta like hunch over as you walk though. Oh, it's so dark. Oh, I wish I had a flashlight. So dark. Dang it, there's nothing here. It's just the end, and it just smells like pee, and that's it. All right, let's go back. Oh, I wonder if there's anything in the other tunnels, or is it the same stuff? Whew. Gotta stand up straight for all of it. Let's check this one initially on the right. It's shorter. If it smells like pee, I'm turning around. Nothing. Where did I put these things? It's actually pretty nice. In the old days, you'd have to get a brochure or something, or audio tape, and then you follow the numbers and read about what's going on. But these days, you could just install the NPS app, and there's actually a full tour. Number 9, it gives you a full description of everything. You just kind of read it as you go, and it gives you a little GPS map as well, so you kind of know where you are, so you're not too lost. It's actually quite nice. I've had it installed before, but I just didn't look it up until just now, trying to figure out what 5 was for. But now I know, and I'll tell you all about it in a little bit here. Here's stop 10, and on the app we got stop 10 there, so let's hit that, and you get to read about Bastion A and what its uses are. It's pretty nice actually. Inside number 10 there. It's Bastion A, and you can see all these little, can you guess what those are for? It's pretty obvious actually. It's where the cannons are mounted. There's like a little metal pipe there, and it just wheeled in an arc so you can aim. There's 3 of them here, and I guess there's other stuff here. Interestingly, they said that they didn't know what these are for exactly. It could have been to put supplies, and they said they might have put wooden planks on top as another shelf, but they are not for certain. Interesting, huh? So this concrete has been around since 1900s. Crazy. There's another one of these long hallways that goes to a short tunnel. There's three in the other one. I guess these are called counter mines. And when they're attacked, they load the rooms at the ends of these tunnels with gunpowder. And if the enemy gets to this portion of the wall, they explode them to take out the enemy forces and kind of stop them in their tracks. Interesting, it's like a self-destruct tunnel specifically for this spot. I guess it's, I don't know, I have no idea exactly where it is from outside, but it must be important. There's no lights in this one. Dark. They have this info board about this smoothbore gun. It's a Rodman, I guess, and there's one way over there, and that's the one they're talking about. Cannonballs were 15 inches in diameter and weighed 300 to 450 pounds. This is how they carried them. Even with 4 people, that's like 110 pounds per person. That is a lot of weight. But oddly enough, this thing was never fired in battle. It was just there for defensive purposes and never needed it. I've been walking all around, but I can't find number 11. And there's this tunnel here. I went down a little bit. I'm not sure if we're supposed to go down there. It's not lit up. If it's lit up, you know, you're supposed to go down there, I guess. But it's open. There's footprints. I used the flashlight. I went pretty far, but then it kept going and it forked. So I was like, I'm not going in there. But 12 is right up ahead. So let's just skip 11, go on to 12. I think we'll come back to 11 because it's supposed to be Fort Bastion, Pensacola, and that's supposed to be the big one. Wherever it is. I'm lost. I'd be a horrible soldier at this fort. Okay, I just verified with the app. That tunnel that was back there was 11. Just the number was missing. But I guess it was a tunnel that goes from the south end to the north side battery, but it's supposedly closed because when they put in a power station, they blocked it off. So I'm glad I didn't bother to keep going because it would have just been dark and it's closed anyway. Anyway, so let's read about number 12. It appears to be 2 arch storage areas, maybe? Deep. Got water in it. What is it? It makes sense there's water in there. These are cisterns to hold rainwater for the fort. There are several around here, but I guess the one on D exploded during an explosion, but these are mostly intact. Pretty interesting engineering. It's even interesting they've cut this notch here because they put in a new type of gun and it was just a little too big to maneuver. But the arch supports the structure above, but below they actually put in an underground arch, so it spreads out the weight evenly across a bigger area instead of just on columns, so it wouldn't settle into the sand. It's pretty clever engineering. Never thought of that. But yeah, it's really nice. It's like a little underground arch, and everything is just like spread out all the way to spread out, not just in 2 columns. It's pretty interesting what they had to overcome to build on the sand like this. I guess the construction began in 1829. They used a lot of slaves from the Pensacola area as well as Alabama, I guess, to build everything here, but I guess they finished it in 5 years as well. They got materials from, I guess, Vermont, lead from Illinois, and it's just amazing how much they built on this little island that's just constantly battered by bad weather. It's amazing. Here we are right next to one of these big old guns that weigh 50,000 pounds. The cannonballs are like 350 to 450 pounds, and that is a good 10 feet off the ground. It must have been a ladder system. I don't know how they even with 4 people, that's 4 people together lifting over 100 pounds each up to the top to roll it in. That's insane. Modern days, they probably use machines and hydraulics to lift it up from the back and load it in, but crazy. And these weren't even rifled, so they didn't have much of a range. I guess 15 miles, I forget, but it wasn't that far. Walking along the top of this walkway here, there are so many guns here and just cannons. You can see every one of these arches is an old cannon. Look how, just like one after another. Oddly enough, these are facing kind of north. They're just one after another. There's just so many of them. And it's really interesting to see what's left over. These metal tracks where the wheels would turn, the pivot points of the cannon itself. Crazy. This is the next stop in the tour. It's Battery, Pensacola. I guess they added it with all new technology. They had telephones, they had reinforced concrete and steel cannons. So they made bigger, stronger, more precise cannons. But they painted it black, I guess, to reduce glare from the Florida sun. And so it's all weird. It's all black. Everything's just so black. And this isn't the only one that's just black like this, but this is the big one within Fort Pickens itself. Let's go on up. I was about to go up, but then I saw this, and I think they use this to load shells. They probably carted it here, hooked it onto something, and then rolled it. And I always think, you know, if there's a door open and there's no sign and no tape or something, you can go in. So I'll just go in, and it just keeps going and going. Let's follow it. A lot of it's deteriorated quite significantly, but there's another set right there from this door. So it goes down in here. Ooh, it's all wet and dark. All right, I'm gonna hit the flashlight. Both sets of tracks go this way. And it's funny how they go right next to each other. And they come upon, what in the world is that? Could be the mount for a cannon? I don't know, but the tracks keep going this way. There's random rooms to the sides here and there. Both tracks go this way. Oh, they just end here. What is this? There's nothing here. There's a wooden ceiling here. It must be something, but the tracks go this way and end here. It must be where they store the ammo once it comes in 2 different piles. There's another set of tracks here on another side of the building, and this one is more intact, and it looks more like a support for the shells, and it looks like a chain system and gears. So I'm guessing these rails, this was the storage room on the right, and this is also the elevator that lifts up the rounds and takes them up to the upstairs area where the cannon is. So let's go on upstairs, but this one's much more intact. You can see the chains. Big chains, and then just lifts them right up. I went up some stairs, and this is the top of the little pulley system to drop off the shells, and it looks like it comes here, probably gets put on a cart of some type and pulled over. And the guns are long gone since 1936 or something. I'm guessing that's where the guns were. And these are just stairs where people manned it. It would go up, shoot, and then come down, and then would reload and go up and shoot again. Not a trace though. Kind of looks like an auditorium, but it's more so the gun could swing side to side. Here's the other ammo exit that we saw in the very beginning, and this one's on this side. It has its own gun, so there are 2 guns up here. There it is, and there's an information board. Let's go read about it. Yep, I saw this information board somewhere else, but that definitely is where the gun sits, and you can see the stairs where people are sitting. This is right up here. Up ahead is number 16, the end of the self-guided tour, and I guess this is Bastion Delta D, where there's an explosion, I guess, and it's just all gone. Just this whole corner is gone, and they never bothered to repair it. But it's kind of in the northeast end, and most likely the enemy wouldn't come this way, but yeah, wide open. Now I'm ready to start the driving tour. There are batteries located throughout this whole island or area here. So I'm just gonna go to each one, get out, climb around, look around, and read about them. But that's gonna take the rest of the day, I guess. And it's supposed to get a little cloudier and cloudier And I just read that there's one of the batteries supposed to be a really good spot for a sunset. You just climb on top. So I might come out tonight just to park somewhere out there and then watch the sunset and then go back. Today's gonna be much cloudier, so it might be a better sunset. It's a little windier though, might be a little colder, but we'll see. But for now, let's check out all the batteries. I'm at the, I parked right in front of the Florida Trail terminus, and there's two hikers there. They're like stretching out and massaging their muscles, getting ready to go. It's kind of weird. I remember from my through hikes, I pretty much just went, hey, take some pictures and just kick off. But they've been there quite a while. I was tempted to talk to them, but yeah. Aggressive.
Yeah.
He's trying to bite his knife.
They grabbed their fish from one guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was here. They were like over here, and I was like kicking them away. And one of the guys, he dropped the fish, and they were on it, and they were like going after his hand.
Really? Yeah. I never knew they were like this.
I've never seen them as bad as this before either.
This is the closest I've ever been to a pelican.
You can get closer if you want.
If I want.
Yeah, just walk over to them. They don't go until you get right on them.
I didn't want to scare them, but I guess, yeah, they're not scared at all. You should be more scared than they are, it looks like.
Look, they're waiting for him to drop something.
Gosh. They are bold.
Lay them and then use them for bait.
Oh, okay.
So he might.
Oh, that's why he has a knife.
Small, he might just throw it back. But look, they're all waiting.
They're like trained animals.
Yep.
Lined up.
You go in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw in the water.
Get your own food.
Throw it up in the air.
Oh my god.
No, they won't go after it that way.
Man, I'm so close to them. Less than half a yard. They just don't care. I bet if I got closer, they would snip at the camera. They just don't care. This is the Battery Pane, P-A-Y-N-E. And we are right next to a gun mount. And it has actually an interesting story. None of the cannons and guns in Fort Pickens has ever killed anybody, except either one of this or the other one next to it. But when it fired, it broke off a mount, fell backwards, and killed someone that was standing behind it. So that was the only time any of the cannons on this fort has ever killed anybody, because it didn't see any action. Interesting story, kind of sad, but interesting. We are now at one of the more modern guns. I guess they have the structure here to keep all the ammunition in there, just to keep it all protected. And off to the side, this is a unique structure. They built two of these. I guess they're cast iron walls that are rounded to help deflect fire. The plan was to put in these guns, but they were actually never put in. This was courtesy of the Smithsonian. I guess they made a replica and put it in there. But they built this outer shell, and by the time they finished, they deemed this unnecessary. So, but this is what it would have looked like. Pretty interesting design of the casing, I guess, to deflect any kind of hit off the sides. Fascinating. Looks cool though. Get a good look at its rifling. Nice. But this space is directly into the Gulf, so it's to protect the shore. I guess there was another spot back there. I guess in the late 1800s, they were worried about war with Spain, so they put in a lot of these guns to protect from that. And a lot of these are actually manned during World War II to protect against German invasion, because there's a naval yard here. They didn't want U-boats coming through and attacking them. But it's crazy, the history here. It's been so active militarily, and never even heard of it. Can you imagine you're in World War II and you're just serving places like this, just sitting around, just constantly on alert for years? Not the most fun. This is Battery Cooper. This is interesting because the guns here are on these arms, so when it's shot, it lowered itself so people could reload behind the safety of the walls, and it pops back up, and then you shoot and the recoil drops again. Pretty interesting. I guess the gun here originally was taken away during World War I to be used in France, but this is from the Smithsonian Institute, so let's go check it out. It's a gigantic gun, isn't it? It's crazy that it just like shoots, drops down so people could come behind it, reload, and it pops back up. And they have all these wheels and cranks. I don't know what they do. Everything just frozen in place with paint. Nothing works. Interesting. They have a little aiming thing probably. You spin the thing to aim. Interesting. There's no chain on this, and the ladder doesn't seem to be blocked off. Although we probably shouldn't get on the gun, so I shouldn't go up there. Oh, I was tempted. Here's the breach. Pretty crazy. Let's go up these stairs though and see what the guns would see. It's more of that black painted reinforced concrete. It's also interesting how they sloped it all, I guess for water drainage and maybe for a little protection. And the gun pops up. If somebody has to stand there, man, they are just gonna get jarred. Their ears are probably gone. Just wide open water. You see some people at the beach fishing, and it's just wide open. I could see a little bit of tracks or something down below. Like there used to be a gun down there, but I can't tell. I can't see it actually. By the way, for the sunset last night, there's actually a little path that goes through the dunes, and I sat over there somewhere, but really close to this battery. There's a spot on the east side with another gun. Two of these gigantic structures. This is Battery Langdon. This is a big one with two structures, and there's several paths that you can kind of go up and get above it. But supposedly a more modern bunker built and extremely thick concrete on top. And then during World War II, they covered it with sand and vegetation to keep it hidden from enemy aircraft.
Wow.
It's nice. There are trails back there, so you can actually come and climb up on top of these bunkers. I guess there's 3 of them. This one's a nice one. Concrete, got a nice little ledge. Yesterday, I think the sunset was more towards over there. Maybe a little that way. I bet it'd be a nice spot to watch the sunset actually. Just come up here. It's even protected from the wind on the left by all these bushes. Which is beautiful. I don't know if I've ever been around so much white sand before. Just white beaches. It's amazing. There's hardly anybody here either. Everywhere I go, hardly anybody here, and people tell me that during the busier season this is just jam-packed. And it's super nice right now. I don't even have a jacket on. So that was Battery Langdon, the most powerful gun on the fort. It was able to shoot a 12-inch round 17 miles out to sea. And then this is an interesting thing. First time it was fired, artilleryman M. Harry said his hat blew off and his pants split that bad. Lots of boys would bleed from mouth and ears. Everybody was becoming deaf at this place and just taking on massive internal damage. They had no idea. From the picture, it looks like this was one of the emplacements for the guns, and you could see how thick that concrete is. That's gotta be at least 8 inches or 8 feet, maybe 6, and it's just much thicker above it. There's just tons of concrete. It's insane. Super fortified. And you can sit right up there and watch the sunset. And amidst all that, there's the Florida Trail walking right by the gun battery. In fact, I see another one across the street, so I guess it goes that way and takes a little parking lot driveway that goes around and then gets back on the road. You can see people up there. That'll be it for today, folks. I'm here at Fort Pickens in basically near Pensacola, Florida, and it's a national lake shore there, and I watched the sunset from up there on top of that basically cannon battery bunker. But unfortunately the clouds got really thick and it just kind of darkened everything up. There's a little bit of pink clouds behind me, so I'll show you that, but besides that, it hasn't been couldn't see the sun go down. Still a really nice day. It actually turned out really nicely. It was supposed to rain throughout the day, but there wasn't one drop of rain. Beautiful, beautiful day. Thanks for watching, folks. Hopefully you can make it out here to Fort Pickens yourself. It's actually really nice, especially in winter. It's not busy at all. Like, I thought it might be busy in the winter, but it's been great. I'm pretty sure at the southern end of Florida it's gonna be busier. Maybe it's because it was cold here, it's not so busy, but it's been really nice, and some wildlife so far, so come on by. Thanks for watching, y'all. Have a good night. Bye.